Sweat Equity Podcast and Streaming Show, the number one comedy business podcast in the world. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with real raw dog talk. Yeah.
Do the same ones every time.
Yeah. Not only did we win an award as 2020's Best Small Medium Enterprise Business Advisor podcast in the United States, but we also won 2021's. I don't know how we won an award for this year already, but 2021's
We're that good. That's how.
Best Podcast and Streaming Entertainment Studio, Eastern United States, by Media.
I feel like it's a personal award for me.
Maybe, yeah.
I kind of am the studio.
You are the studio.
Right?
That's fair. Media, well, that's how Media Innovator Awards sees it. Hosted by, the magazine we all grew up with, Corporate
Everybody
Vision
knows
Magazine.
It, loves it.
Mm-hmm. It's not a fake award at all for us to do their marketing.
It is not a fake award.
No, that's a real one. It's not a scam. You want to say that? Do us a favor, go on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, Amazon Podcast, all the places you can get. Subscribe, rate, review, give that 5-star. You can even write something funny in the comments, and we'll throw it up in the podcast. I haven't seen anything.
Literally has never happened ever.
It has. We just forgot to check.
Oh, it was before my 200 episodes.
No.
Sure.
It's gone on. This episode... Look it up right now. You have a phone in front of you.
No.
I'll bicker about
I'm
it
not going to fucking
in the
do
intro.
It.
All right.
That hasn't happened.
Not in front of our guest. This episode is sponsored by Grasshopper. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Gets you $75 off an annual plan. What's Grasshopper, you say? Or a guest might need it.
What?
You just do a startup and you need a phone line that's not your own. You can't do a Google Voice number. That doesn't play.
Al Dente Tastings actually has a Grasshopper phone number for the record.
Nice. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Like Key Sweat gets you $75 off an annual plan. The Entrepreneur's app for a phone. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Let's do this to the tooth. Hotty toddy.
About my sweat equity. Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Eric, you made a strong John Daly drink. I just took a sip
For
of
you?
it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Just have a cigarette and chill out.
Yeah, I need it. Man, I wish I smoked cigarettes. I just do nicotine gum.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get
you addicted to nicotine
you got me,
gum.
I'm the only person I've ever heard of that's getting into nicotine.
I know
you
started the wrong way.
I'm popping. Yeah, I like it though. Why don't we bring our guest in since she's sitting there looking at us and wondering what the show's about? Jess, why don't you tell everybody where to find you, what your full name is, in case people want to Google that because I don't want to butcher it. All their plugs.
So my name is Jessenia Rojas.
Yeah, get into that mic.
And the company's called Dente Tastings,
Mm-hmm.
and you can find it on all.
Yeah.
For sure, I'm gonna do that.
You can find it on aldentetastings.com. It's pretty easy.
All right.
It makes it simple.
And so this is a passion project or a passion of yours turned into, what would you call it? An experience? What is the company?
So,
and we should say Eric is involved in the branding, marketing aspect of everything.
Yeah.
So
way up in it. Right.
So we usually don't have a pop-up map behind us. Yeah, you're gonna have to get right into that mic. Or
I'm not used to this.
Can you hear yourself?
For those of
I
you
can definitely hear myself.
that don't know what Italy looks
But
like,
you probably
idiots.
you probably think you sound louder than you do. But
Okay.
I'll push you into I'll tell you to go into the mic.
Okay.
I'm
scared I'm gonna hit it with my mouth.
Oh no, don't.
You gonna take that one?
Our germs are so much on ours.
You gonna take that
It's
setup?
bad. Or it's make it your own.
So Al Dente Tastings, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's you're bringing Italy to people's houses to experience a bunch of different meals throughout Italy. So you're basically taking the tour to Italy without having to sit on a flight.
Absolutely.
Of the food, because that's got to be the biggest driver for a lot of Americans that want to go to Italy is the food.
And then a lot of people don't do it right,
What
which is it's so sad.
What do they do?
Well, I mean, you just don't experience it the right way. Because I always say, the more you know, the better you can experience anything in life.
Yeah.
Right? So with food, a lot of people will go to Italy, go to these touristy restaurants, sit down, order food. Don't get me wrong, that's a great experience in and of itself. But when you know what you're eating, like that's not bacon, it's pork jowl. It's actually the cheek of the pork kind of thing, you know? When you get a carbonara,
Sure.
people are always like, that's bacon. And I'm like, no, you're not eating bacon, actually.
So I will put it out there. I'm not a foodie by any means. Here's how I go.
Shit.
Here's how I go. Well, look, I love a good meal. Like this sounds all great, right? But I don't like have to go out and get it. You know, like I think we got to this point where every meal has to be precious, just in general. But
For certain people, sure.
Ladies, but I think like I just want a bite of yours. You know that thing. And you're like, no, why?
I'm not hungry, but let me try.
Yeah, why didn't you just get it? Like I just used to get in the cadence of like. Okay, what are the top 2 things you want to get when I was married? Yeah, and I'll just get the second one and just eat whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the move.
It's because you're going to want some. Yeah. By the way, divorced, so didn't work out too
we
well.
don't know what the
I should have stood my ground at the Olive Garden.
ordering the carbonara.
I want chicken parm. But so the idea is you are going into people's homes or maybe kind of events. And being able to give a small group a high-end experience. Am I getting it right?
Absolutely. What's cool is that you said you're not a foodie.
I'm not.
And I get a lot of foodies. I mean, I want to say 90% of the people that I've had in my life doing what I've been doing for the last 8 years are not foodies.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about my job.
Right.
I'm not trying to convert you. You don't have to. But it's nice to enlighten people.
Well,
And that's kind of what I do. And you could not be a foodie. You could be a big foodie. Either way, we're going to mesh because...
Yeah, no, I kind of believe in, and it's not really on purpose. It's more because I'm lazy about planning what I'm going to eat. It's just I could eat the same thing for breakfast, lunch, or what. I'm trying to skip breakfast now, but yeah, intermittent fasting.
We can all tell. I'll tell you.
I'm down 25 pounds or something from
Are
the beginning
you?
of the year.
I totally noticed.
Yeah. And so and just from not eating my kids' food that they don't eat, you know, stuff like that. But I'm about
food in your car that's just cleaning
garbage. Yeah. Is that thing of what's it called? I don't mind eating the same thing almost every day because I'm just kind of like
creature of habit.
Well, yeah, I'd rather do it almost in an efficiency way, or it's because I don't plan it out. But what I'm saying is it makes the good meals even better, right? It makes me appreciate it more. If you're always eating at a restaurant all the time, you're going to be a foodie and you're going to be a hard critic, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you don't really know what you're talking about, which I feel like half my foodie friends are kind of posers.
Full of shit.
Well, in Italy, the nice thing is you're actually growing up with it every day of your life. I mean, whatever Nonna or mom or even dad, whomever it is that's cooking in the home, you're going to have that
grandma.
experience. You literally experience,
Thanks,
Nonna.
Papa.
Sorry,
Thanks,
you're right.
Papa video.
Sorry, you're right. Nonna.
I think we could have figured it out with
I know
context.
all the abuela names.
But yeah, no, you grow up with that. You grow up literally having what I call an experience with food every time. And it doesn't have to be every time, but you're literally that umming and ahming that you do.
Yeah.
That should happen every time, where you're just closing your eyes and you're almost taking in every flavor.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Well, the big thing, my understanding with Italian food in Italy, or what you're doing is you're really bringing Italian materials, Italian ingredients over here, like not straight up legit. Like for instance, pasta is a totally different thing over there. The way we grew up with it here, it's carefully done. It's done in a certain kind of way, in a certain kind of temperature, right? When they're and so part of the thing about what makes the meals a lot better is maybe the effort put into it. Like this cheat code would be saying there's love into it, but there's really a way.
An Italian made it.
Well, I always say there's a rhyme and a reason to everything an Italian does with food. Yeah. Everything.
Right. It's not just for panache. It's not just for show, prestige.
And even if it's the most simple thing you can think of, cutting up some tomatoes with some basil, olive oil, and salt. You know, you're just making some, salad to make a bruschetta. Sorry, I got away. Just even something as simple as that, you should be able to close your eyes and taste the summer, because tomatoes are summer tomatoes. You shouldn't have a tomato in December. They taste like nothing.
Mm. Yeah, so that's like that's kind of stuff that you throw in as a nugget that I'd be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's like when you go on a wine tour, if you've done that, a wine tasting, and you're like, is this legit? And is this like you can hear
Right.
There's floating elements of vanilla and cherry in this. I'm like, I got nothing.
Oh
Well,
no.
the thing that we're not talking about is Jess is actually and you need to give your credentials in terms of how many sommeliers you are, but she's a wine, olive oil.
No. So
No?
no, not like that. Not like that. So
I'm just saying,
I'm an olive oil sommelier.
My point
yes.
is that there's more to
What is an
it.
olive oil somm?
I'm just a specialist. I did a course
Well-
where in the same schooling that the wine sommelier course was that I started about 9 years ago. The same school is where I ended up going to do olive oil.
Uh-huh.
There you can also do a cheese master, which I also did. I became a professional cheese
I'm
taster.
the cheese master.
Well,
I know,
let's
I
go with a
want that
professional
title
cheese taster.
so
Professional
bad.
cheese taster,
That
which is really
sounds
fun.
like it comes with a big belt, like
No,
a strap in the
yeah.
UFC or
The
something.
cheese master is challenging me.
The weakest WWE
Right.
wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Here comes the cheese master.
The worst Avenger.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, sorry, we're ruining your
That's
resume
okay.
here.
It's okay. No.
Oh, we're not done yet. Hold on a
Hold
second.
on, hold on. We got more riffs.
No, I've done. What the really neat part is that I always say I love learning. I will never stop learning. And going to these courses that I've done, over 350 wine courses that I've done in Rome and in Italy, I should say, not even just in Rome. You meet these people. They bring things alive. They make things make sense. Like what you were just saying. Like that's what I try and do on my tours. I guess with all of the schooling that I've done in Italy and in my life, I try and really bring things alive for people.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a literal sense, because you've got like prosciuttos in front of you, and that's kind of creepy if you think about that
Oh,
coming
wow.
alive.
She's a
But
necromancer.
yeah, that's creepy.
Bring
What?
it to life. Raise the dead. That's the thing. There's somebody out there laughing their
Yeah.
ass off right
Oh
now.
man,
I'm
there's
saying.
someone driving in traffic. Like, yeah,
Oh,
Eric.
shit.
Yeah,
Good
I feel
reference,
it. I was thinking every in a way, I think about wasting food as like every kind of thing has a story in a dorky supply chain way. Like I hate wasting food just because it's just because we didn't think about it. That I think it's 30% of what we buy at the grocery store we just
It's
trash
bad.
as an average in America, which is fucking insane if you really think about it. But I think about like that waste of like it was grown somewhere else. It made it all the way through 7 distribution channels to get to the table, right? That's the kind of nerd supply chain story. But what you're trying to bring to the table, nice, is that
Was it?
you have there's a story for every kind of thing you're presenting when you're doing a meal
Absolutely.
or several meals. I don't know how this works.
So it's pretty much there's a 1 hour one that you can choose, and I call it the 1 hour journey or the 2 hour journey, which is, let's say, the more popular, because the 2 hour journey is more of a meal. You're paying for an actual dinner. Let's call it a dinner, because it will fill you up. But I pretty much divide it in 2 parts, and the first part of the tour or the tasting is every ingredient alone. So you're tasting every single ingredient, and I go from softest flavor to strongest flavor. And so I'm just kind of talking about each and every ingredient. And then on the tray, there's 2 of everything. So at the end, after we go through each ingredient alone, so 1 of each, at the end, you're going to have 1 of each left over. So then you start pairing, and we start talking about it. You start contrasting the flavors, make things come out more by putting some honey on some pecorino cheese, which is nice and salty. So it contrasts it just beautifully.
So I'm of the opinion that what Jess does is she's an entertainer, because
yeah,
the food that
in
she's
Tampa, yeah,
right, the food and the wine that she's bringing to your house can be purchased anywhere. Like she uses Mazzaro's, like that's you can go buy all the stuff that she uses. The point is that she's educated on it, she's passionate about it, and the reason I'm involved is because I heard her talking about it, and it was like, oh, this is actually a person who knows what they want to do with their life, and it's going to be easy, actually.
So
I just glommed on,
I like it.
and
Mooch, yeah.
exactly. I was like, oh, she knows what she wants to do. That's the fucking hardest thing to figure out for most people, but she's got it, and literally everybody that has interacted with Jess and Al Dente tastings is like, oh man, I love it. I want to do it again. They'll sit there and listen to the same thing that they just heard 3 months before that. The same exact thing.
Yeah.
Again, because of what Jess is bringing to the table.
Well, I mean, storytelling's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
Jokes don't work that way. I wish they did. I wish
Right.
there's cover bands.
I
and
mean, I'm
stuff,
sure you
but
have stories that people like tell the story about that time, and it's just like the
Sometimes-
way you're telling this, or you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Though.
I know
It's
what you're
like,
saying. Yeah,
oh, I love the way he tells that story.
right,
You can listen to things over and over again.
right.
And,
Sure.
This, it's rare that you
People
have a
don't
business.
ask. I just do it.
Right. I know.
I just
You
force
won't
it.
Stop
I just
saying the
ear
fucking
rape
story
people.
all the time.
But I'm saying, okay, so let's go. Let's go backwards a bit to your journey and how you kind of got to here. So let's reset the table, guys.
What?
I'm gonna try a lot of dining puns, but
I'm not gonna play into that.
I thought you had the Price is Right losing horn in there.
I do.
It's a long drop for a bomb, but yeah, I like it. But let's go back. Why, if I'm hiring, you're kind of a high end service, right? An experience. I'm hiring for the night. What makes you educated in this? So I don't know where to start. I guess you moved to Italy at some point a while back.
I did. I moved back. So I grew up there. My dad was Italian, mom Cuban American.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved there when I was younger, and I did elementary and middle school. Then I came back to Tampa.
Wait, Italian and Cuban?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not opinionated at all. I'm sure in that household. Nothing.
I'm holding my hands together right now, so I don't move them around like crazy.
So,
And, like,
yeah.
knock over
Oh, wait,
my-
your mom might listen.
Totally
to this. I forgot-
unemotional reactions to things.
I forgot
happening.
you told us before we started. Your mom might listen to this, so shout out to your mom. What's up, girl?
What up, Gigi?
Hey, JG. And so not a pretty chill house. Probably not a lot of energy, not a lot of opinions, right?
Zero. I'm turning red. Can you see it?
No, you're pretty tan, so it's pretty tough. But I've made black girls blush before, so yeah. I'm saying
Black girls like me so much better than I like you. By the way.
oh wow,
For the
Jeez.
record, for the fucking record.
I didn't know we were in competition.
You are now.
Okay, well you like
I'm winning.
those thick black girls I have seen in action. We'll go out and a thick black girl come up to Eric and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
We'll hit on him. It's amazing.
Love it.
Well, I've just recently been called a brown girl, which has never happened.
Well,
in my
that's
whole
a
life.
whole fucking different topic.
Yeah,
Like, that's a
that's-
racist.
Yeah,
That is
that's-
like we need to, organize a march.
By the way, all white people want to be brown. Like I don't know.
Oh, I
this
hate
ra-
my skin.
this,
Fuck this shit.
but all racism is so weird to me when everyone's like, most of the country wants to be tanner.
Right.
You know, the really white
Yeah.
people are always tanning.
Yeah.
I don't think of that when I see someone. I just don't.
I-
I don't know.
We don't
I mean,
either, but we're just saying.
yeah, okay,
it's
yeah,
like-
that's a different thing.
I don't either, but I'm saying like it's.
I also do want to work on my tan.
You got me. Well, we're in Florida, so there's no excuse to be keyboard soft and stay indoors.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, get that vitamin D, dude. Okay. You've only got one.
I'm pretty fucking tan right now.
You only got one vax shot. I'm worried. Okay.
Give it a minute.
So let's start. Let's go to the start. Let's start at the start. You moved, or you grew up in Italy. Sorry, I cut you off because
Okay.
I couldn't get over the household sitcom style
Right.
of
It is.
those two
We
parents.
could do another podcast on that.
Well, I mean that's the
Italian and Cuban, huh?
That's,
Wow.
that's the origins of this city, really, in Tampa. But we have people outside the area that listen to it. But the origins of Ybor City, the oldest part of Tampa, is Italian-Cuban heritage. So I just don't know anybody our generation that has that actually grown up with, in one of the countries. So you're in Italy. So sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. So elementary, middle school there. Then I came back here to Tampa, that is, and I did high school and college. As soon as I was done, went back to Italy, which was 9 years ago. And that's where my passion really started.
Okay.
And it just progressed. I started working for other
You went
than
to Italy without a plan? You went back to Italy? Or
that's the cool part because I went with one suitcase. I was supposed to help a friend with translating. So he was American and he needed me there for the Italian language. And I literally never came back. I met a guy, so there was a guy involved, like always. But that kind of, I just knew that I wasn't supposed to leave was kind of the thing. I knew I was home, which was interesting. I knew finally that I opened my front doors and I liked what I saw. And that had never happened. So that was really cool.
Can you kind of illustrate that? Like, was it physically opening the doors
because
and
I
looking
always
out?
say people like to see the mountains, some people like the city, some people like the country, But I liked what I saw. It was, we all like different things, and there's no perfect city, no perfect place in the world, really.
Mhm.
But we all can find something, and I just found it in Rome. And I'd never been. I grew up in Italy, but I grew up in the north part, so I'd never been to Rome. And I got off that train, and I knew I was home.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point, I still didn't know I was going to stay, but I knew at one point after a month when I knew I was about to leave, 3 days actually before I was supposed to leave, I just knew it. I'm like, I could find a job easily, like, with my languages, English, Spanish, Italian, I could do this.
So you grew up knowing Italian, I take it.
I did.
Okay, so I mean that's kind of obvious if you kind of grew up there, but you never know. There's some people that speak Spanish growing up here, and English is still tough, even if they were born here, kind of thing. So I don't know much about being in Italy other than watching Master of None with Aziz Ansari and him going that season where he's making
That's
pasta.
What you're going with
That's
on
all
the
I got.
reference, huh?
Well, that's all I got, really. I don't know a lot. What's the north of Italy like compared to the south? I know the tropes, but I don't know a lot. I just found out my mom's. I'm 1/4 Italian or 1/8 Italian. I just found this out, so who knows?
I'm not buying that.
That's my mom's
One
side.
bit.
I'm a white mutt, really, but yeah.
So,
But my sister's like, did you know? Did you know you're 1/4? I was like, no. Why am I
Did they
finding?
sit you all down and like we have something to tell
No,
you?
it was aggressively said to us at my mom's 70th birthday, and I was like, I didn't know. I don't care, really, because I don't.
understand.
Because we obviously had none of that. Like part of us brought to our dinner.
I feel like growing up in Tampa, you kind of do no matter what.
Well, look in America, just in general, we love Italians, like bad or good. Like we
Sure.
love
No,
Italian
yeah,
food.
no,
We
that's what
love
I'm saying,
mob
though.
movies. We
In
love all that stuff.
Tampa, Italian, Cuban is celebrated.
But in the United States, I'm just saying there's Italian joint everywhere, right? So it's not it's obviously well accepted.
Talk about Domino's, man.
no.
I'm talking about Olive Garden
Yeah.
because when you're here, your family,
Oh,
right? Mm-hmm.
I hate you, right?
Endless bread rolls, baby. All right. Go
I
ahead.
think I just threw up in my mouth.
No,
Yeah.
it's a joke.
I know.
I'm trying to bring the
coming?
the scummiest Italian I could think of, and that was it.
Well, what's interesting is I think most of them there's fewer that are actually good.
Right.
And they do exist in America. They do exist. There's just you have to really
You have
go
to care.
and you have to go scope them out. Like
Right.
they're not everywhere.
They have to be not chains. There's no chains that are really good.
Small menus.
Right.
It's a good
Well,
one.
it works for a certain kind of person. Like it's that thing of like a lot of people like consistency, and they like to not be. They like to know what they're gonna get. Kind of a lot of the time, I would say that's probably a lesser evolved kind of adult. To not try anything new, or at least want to try to
It's
strive
like
to
the
get-
whitest shit of all time.
right. But I'm saying like
I like going to Outback because I know what the fries are going to taste like.
that maybe not the explicit thought they have, but it's
It
definitely the
definitely happens.
reason, either consciously or subconsciously. I
So
think
what's interesting is
Outback started in Tampa for anybody listening that doesn't know a fucking Australian concept. I just had to throw it out there. I think that's so funny to me. What do we know about Australia? Nothing. They're just like, no, I'll put some boomerangs and shit around it.
We'll bring their
We'll
culture.
we'll bring what they think Australia is over here. That's
Well,
not a knife.
what's really cool about having worked in Rome and having worked in tourism for 7 years in Rome is that I worked with the world. I literally, my biggest clientele was Germany and then Australia and America, obviously, but England, France. I had the entire world. So I really got to learn like slang, and
Mhm.
I became friends with some of them. So I don't know. I think it's really, really nice to learn about different cultures, because then for me, what was my upper hand in Rome was working with Americans.
Right.
Having people that I knew that they wanted ice. Even though Italians don't put ice in their water, I
Mhm.
knew maybe my clients might, little things like that where it's like you said, you're used to it.
Well, you have empathy for the
Well,
audience.
I do.
Well, I mean, whether you're really thinking about it or not, like you empathize with the American. You didn't chastise an American and go, "We don't do that here."
Mm.
You go, "Oh, I know what you want," kind of thing. I think
Right.
that's the empathy part of it. That's probably what makes you good at what you do, because you're understanding this is an experience. What's the education level of everybody you're talking to, right? So, all right, so you're in,
Right. Well, that's the thing that goes.
and you know more of the
so-
story, so you can break in. Anytime.
Well, I'm just, like Jess is compared to other food tour businesses that exist throughout the world in
Mhm.
general.
Uh-huh.
Jess's
consulted a few.
education level especially compared to the Tampa Bay area, a food tour situation is, it's like bringing Jordan in after retirement to come in and do food tours. It's
Montel Jordan?
Right. Number 45 at 45 years old.
Yeah, this is how we do.
But, that's the difference where it's like anybody can fucking start a food tour business. It's like you just go around to a bunch of restaurants, be like, hey, can I stop here every once in a while, once a week, whatever it is,
Right.
and I'll give you a vig on it.
That's easy,
Like,
yeah.
I don't fucking know what the fuck I am talking about.
Well,
And I don't even try and offer any.
You're a logistics company there.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
You're just moving people around an
You're like
area.
local Uber that only goes to these restaurants.
Let's get a bunch of people, snowbirds, if we're talking about this area and some of the companies, brands we've consulted in the past. It that purely to me is just a logistics company, and let's make deals with whatever local, not really putting thought into it and just going, what local places will let us come there.
Right. Well, it brings me back to just being more of an entertainer than being of like a catering company.
Right.
Which is what it could be, labeled as, where it's like, no, her coming in and sharing her experience and describing, where these foods come from and why they're made that way. That's the difference. It's not, like I said, you can go buy this shit. You can go buy it at Mazzaro's in St. Downtown. Anybody can do that.
Well, aren't you bringing ingredients from other, like, where to get the good stuff that is imported from Italy? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
but
that's
my point is that it don't matter.
I'm just making sure it doesn't sound like, hey, anybody can go do this.
Well,
there's a knowledge.
They could try.
I always
They
say
can try.
you can always you're eating off a charcuterie board. Everybody knows charcuterie boards, and it's a big deal now. People eat off of them. People make them.
The fancy Lunchables?
Exactly. Because most of the time you don't know what you're putting on your platter. Even if you get things that are authentic,
right,
you still don't know what you're putting on your platter.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody needs to know, but it's kind of fun to know.
Yeah. No. Look. If you tell, you light up like a pinball machine talking about this stuff. So clearly,
exactly,
people are driven towards anybody passionate about what they're doing. Like, look, we had this guy in college. He sold those steaks door to door.
Omaha steaks.
Yeah, but he was he was so into it. I think he was on meth.
That we're like steaks, man.
We're like, dude, this guy, he was so passionate about it, and we believed it. I think he believed it.
Yeah.
But
it's contagious.
We're like the fucking meat man, bro. Like, let's buy some steaks off. Like, people gravitate towards that. Yours is a little bit more subdued than a guy on meth in Auburn, Alabama. But I'm saying that passion does bleed through, and but your experience. Let's get back to Rome. Rome, you're there. You got a boy toy. He probably wears really tight, skinny black jeans.
No, they're pink.
Pink?
Uh-huh.
That should have been your
And I love them. They were my
flag.
favorite. No.
Really?
They were like a pale pink. They were nice.
Okay. Okay. I'm no fashionista
the colors
either.
of sweat equity.
Yeah. Well, that's hot pink. We're doing something different there. Light pink?
Turn it up a notch.
Hot pink. Vintage pink.
So you're with Vintage Pinky, and you're in Rome.
Learning. At this point, it's just all being. It's like the seed was planted. That's pretty much what was happening. That's gosh. What did I say?
Sex joke.
Oh yeah. I missed that one too.
Moving on.
And then towards the end of that relationship, I got a phone call from a mutual friend in Rome that said that he knew these two guys that had just opened this company in Rome.
Uh-huh.
It was a food tour company, and they were looking for a bubbly foodie, were exactly his words. So, which is hence why people call me the bubbly foodie, because I kind of got it from there. But I started working with these guys, these amazing guys that gave me the opportunity to cultivate my passion, learn the ropes, which is why the tour company, tour business, that whole realm is something I've been in for 7 years now, and in with my heart and soul, because, when they started the company, I was the first tour guide that worked for them. So, and then after I think about a year and a half, they got another person. And then after I think the last year I was there, they were up to 14 tour guides. So they really...
All of whom were repeating the same shit you were saying.
No. A lot of it had to do with my bosses. Some of the things, yes, we added, we talked about, it was fun for them to come and follow me. That was cool. Because a lot of the girls would, they would follow me maybe, the first 3 times, give or take, or however many my bosses wanted them to do. And then they do their thing. That was the neat part, is you have the information and then you just kind of give it your touch.
Mm-hmm.
And my touch was my passion.
I mean, look, that's no different than any startup company. If you want to take it to a parallel, you're the rock star salesperson, right? Everyone's trying to learn from you. You're not selling necessarily, but you are selling that this is why this is great all the time. Not kind of in a gross way, just, hey, this is why this is this way, that you didn't know this, I'm pretty sure. Any other salespeople that go, okay, that come after you, you did the hardcore apprenticeship. Like, it sounds like you did an informal kind of, you were already kind of doing an entrepreneurial thing, but you didn't know it because you're having to create your own script. You're having to create your own dialogue, how to do it, what's the cadence. There's a bunch of little nuance I'm sure a lot of people didn't pick up on. Yeah. But if I'm a salesperson added to this team, I'm going, who's the rock star? I'm going to copy her.
That's the mindfuck for her.
Right.
Where like she's brought in by these 2 guys, and then if they don't have her, this shit doesn't go as good. Like if it's somebody else who's...
I'm very confident.
You say that shit, but I'm witnessing the opposite.
I think what he's saying is maybe these guys are great on getting asses in the seats, right? Which is a very valuable point, and they could be successful with mid-level, but they probably didn't get repeat. They probably didn't get referrals unless you were involved.
Yes.
You were the experience, right? Because that's what your difference is. You can measure it in the after effect. If you had reviews, which I doubt it was like, can you give us a 5-star review? But I'm sure you had repeat customers or a lot of word of mouth referrals.
5-star reviews are my thing.
Oh, never mind.
And I always said that, and I loved doing that with the company always saying we are a 5-star tour company. So just to give you credit where credit's due, because I think you're being humble about it, you can almost check that in a math sort of way that you could think of all the reviews you got after your tours, compare it to the crowd. Now, if they had a bunch of guys that got 3.5 stars of their experience, they're not getting the repeat. They're not getting the word of mouth, which I'm sure is a lot of it. Well, what was neat is that the girls in the company, girls and guys actually, again, we always said this is a 5-star, so everybody should be getting a 5-star, a 5-star at the end of the tour, just because it was built that way, and that's where the bosses come in. Trump branding, like this is a 5-star tour.
I mean, it's a good goal. It's like we want to give a 5-star experience.
No, I'm
that
around.
Sort of thing, but. I get what you're saying.
It's been a running joke on this show. It's like he's a good brander because he just blatantly says what he is enough times. And you say it enough times, you're like, oh, he is that.
Right.
Oh, I always said I was a 5-star tour guide.
Right.
Always. Because it was my thing.
So you created that dialogue. That's the added value brand messaging you brought to the table organically, whereas they may not have that kind of brand message.
And they had their own, which was nice, is that there was a script when I started. But the girl that they had, I think for the month before I got there, I don't know exactly how long she had been there. Mm-hmm. She left pretty abruptly, so I didn't get the training, nor could I really read the script. I had no time because I was kind of thrown into tours. So I never really read their script, and it wasn't what it is now at all because it did change. One of the girls that was actually one of my close friends, I helped her, and she ended up writing the script for them.
Yeah, it should be a living document if you're starting out, right? Yeah. This needs tweaks, this needs improvement. All that kind of stuff. All right, so You've been doing that for a while. You got other people copying your shiz. You're doing well. You're the rock star of this place. You can shake your head all you want, but you're here for a reason. So you'd have to admit at some point you're good at what you do. So
I love what I do, and I think that if you like what you do, it shows.
Correct. Exactly. That passion. Yeah. No, we hate the quote, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. I hate that quote because that's not true.
I hate it so much.
Because like 97% of it sucks, even if you like it. But the 3% just kind of carries you over, I think.
She's a rare breed where it's like, oh, you can tell right away.
Right.
This person actually knows what they want to do with their fucking life.
And I think
congratulations.
I think it's good you got Eric kind of helping you with the other stuff, which is more of that kind of strategy marketing side that if you're doing, we talk about it on the show a lot of people start their own business because they're specialists and they're really good at one part. So you can either try to learn on the fly, learn ahead before you do it, how to do all the other aspects, or you get someone to partner with that can kind of be that yin to yang. which I'm presuming that's what's going on in y'all's partnership. But let's go. Okay, so we're in Rome. What year are we talking? Where are we at?
Which year?
I don't know.
So I worked for them from about 2014 to 2020.
Okay, so you're 2020, and how are you here in front of us? Let's go from 2020 there to here. What was going on? What's the timeline?
So May of 2020,
You don't have to get too personal.
No,
this
I
isn't
won't,
your feelings journal.
Yeah, no, I won't. For personal reasons, though, I did have to come back to Florida.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on it really ever. I'd been there at this point for 8 years and had no intentions of coming back to Florida. But I did. And I believed that there was a silver lining, and I knew there would be. It took me a while to see it because the Roman Food Tour was what I call my baby, in that it wasn't my company, but I did treat it as so.
And that's why I'm calling you the rock star employee. Because you made it your own.
That's the point. Yeah,
right. You treated it like it was your business.
I would love to know how the Rome.
I cared about it.
A lot of companies have this. So I'm trying to extrapolate a little bit for the audience, because the idea of the show is people want to do their own side hustle, want to do their own thing. There's a lot of rock stars that are mid managers in a lot of places, or they're the best in their specialty for a big company that doesn't really recognize it. And they peel off a lot of the time and make their own thing. And so it's that thing of like, I think you're still being modest about it. But
well, with her, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I've worked with people like you before where, you're not going to do the detailed stuff. You're not going to do the things that you need to do to actually get to where you belong unless you have somebody like me come along and help you out. Because, whatever. It doesn't matter. Personally, like,
selling yourself.
No.
You need me.
So if you want to hit me up, eric@sweatequitypod.com.
Yeah.
But the point is that, there's personality types where you have somebody who's going to be good. She'll be fine. Like, she's, with her, it's like the end game is not necessarily, franchise al dente tastings. It's more like have her own show, because what she's got is more lightning in a bottle than necessarily what she's doing.
Sure,
but
I get what you're saying.
But like the side branches of it are all there. There's so many different things that can be done.
The olive branches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you done? Now I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Well, you're spinning out there for a minute.
No. But
I was worried you're having a stroke.
No, I was right on task.
Okay.
The point was made.
So you're back in Florida. You're back in Florida. Not super pumped about it because 2020 was a mulligan year for everybody.
Pretty cool year.
Pretty cool for a lot of people. We're on lockdown. You came back for personal reasons. We don't have to get into that, but all right. But we always like a good redemption story. So it's you're in. It's a lot of people are in a bad place. 2020. Let's just put it that way. So it's kind of not more or less even, but I think a lot of people can empathize with that. And then you decide to kind of go, I can do. You realize you can do this on your own.
I had been thinking about it. I think I did it for 7 years, so I thought about it every day because I did it every day. I became a robot, so and
it comes up a lot more when you get frustrated with the guys that own it. I'm sure.
What do you mean?
If any dispute between when you're the rock star and a dispute is with the people who own it, who may not care as much as you do, whenever there's a little frustration, you're like, "Fuck this! I can do this on my own," kind of thing. That's a spark, I think.
Well,
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, I think the cool thing is I never really had that because I loved working with them because I was able to do what I loved. They did, best 7 years of my life, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned everything that I know now.
We kind of take that personally because you're sitting right here, so we should be in that 7 years. Okay.
Oh.
Right now should be part of the best time of your life.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, so that's where the silver lining comes in.
Now.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
We're just sensitive. We just take it personally. It's no big deal. No. That's the best time of your life. It's
above
cool.
average sensitive for guys. Whatever.
So all right. So
and then
yeah.
And then it just I had been thinking about, let's say, my plating, my experience, what I've now created. I've been thinking about it for years because I've always believed that there was a journey that could be made with food. And so I created this, what I call journey. And yeah, I've pretty much been thinking about it since I got back.
Is
And then-
that's your why? You feel like every food has kind of a story to it, or at least the food you're.
every food should be an experience, and then when you end up pairing them, it becomes an explosive experience. Go for it. I know that was bad. That
Do
was
you want to do the first diarrhea joke, or should
I was going the other way.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
going with
What other way?
a wiener joke. But,
Yeah, me too. Exploded.
I
yeah.
heard
Okay.
explosive, and
Were you setting us up for that?
I
Yeah,
got
I
up to it.
was.
No, I was trying to let it breathe so we can get a good clip for your branding.
No,
I didn't want to step on it.
I got that.
Well, I didn't want
Okay,
to.
hold on. Wait, what was the dick joke I'm missing? Hold on. What?
Wow, really?
Really?
No, we can't go back.
Yeah,
You're
we
gonna have to
can.
go back.
I'm the editor.
If you want to set it up,
I
Never mind.
actually.
what's your why?
Keep it at diarrhea and go.
Wait, what's my wife for what?
No, that's what I was asking you, and that's what you said. You said it's an experience and an
Why do
explosion.
you have diarrhea?
Well, yeah, with the pairing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
it.
But it was, I think, implied more about eating, going in your mouth, explosion, jizz.
Okay.
We were on the same page. I don't know how you went. Well, I don't know how you went that way. All right,
So
not-
I can say this.
so it's a Rorschach test. Everybody sees it differently.
Just because I don't think you could use this one in like a sexual way right now. But what I like to-
That is
oh,
a
wait,
fucking
actually-
challenge.
Try
You
us.
want to fucking
Yeah,
bet?
no, I know.
Here we
actually,
go.
I just said
All
it.
right.
I
Our
just said it in
logo
my
is
head.
a dick. That's a tie. We can figure it out.
I just said it in my head and like yeah, it came
Fast
out.
money right now.
Don't pull a hammy. You
Well-
know, showing off.
I think what I
You're about to dunk on it. I
Oh,
know.
we're gonna
no,
buzz in.
No.
It's not even gonna be. It's not even gonna be that good.
Well, okay. Fine.
No, but what I've done for the last 7 years and now trying to create here, even though I possibly may go back to Rome, you know, if things work out, I'll go back to Rome. But for now, what I'm trying to create, what I've done for the last, again, 7 years is create memories.
Okay.
You know, whether I call it an experience or a memory, but it's a memory because, you know, especially in Rome, people were coming, maybe it was their first time. I want to make it memorable. If that was your 4 hours with me, was what you remembered from your whole trip or from that was good for me. That
Yeah.
was what I wanted. So now I'm doing it in people's homes, but it's really cool because people hire me for anniversaries and birthdays and bridal showers and events that are special for people. So again, I can help create a memory for these special events, which is really neat for me because I love that. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, and you like
Minimum 4 people.
yeah, minimum 4 people. So a little high end.
Weird if it's only 2.
Well, look, and
Yeah, we won't take two.
Weird
And
for
you-
Jess.
yeah, that, I could see that being very weird.
Well, I've done one person in Rome several times.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, and my favorite
didn't know
client.
that.
Let me
and
guess.
I
A
hope,
Weird.
guy,
I hope he's listening. His
A
name
guy-
his name
an
is
old-
Guy.
an older guy.
Okay.
I believe he's from Belgium.
I'm
and
gonna
he's
edit
listening right
all
now.
this
'cause
shit out so he doesn't kill us all.
No, he's so amazing. He's so
Belgium's
amazing.
fine.
He's amazing at killing people.
No, but it was crazy
And
because
not leaving
my
a trace.
bosses
I
they
like your brown skin.
they send me no. Him and his partner are beautiful. Like I've stayed in contact with them. They've come back and done my tour several times. Like it was really really cool.
What up, guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy was cool. So I have done one human being before, and it was never. Oh.
Go ahead.
I mean,
Just go roll
just-
over it.
and I don't know. I can still create a memory.
Yeah. Well,
Help. Okay. All right. All right.
you made the mistake of telling us that you may you talk in setup form for us that you know, more or less we can't deny on the show.
right.
I don't actually do it on purpose.
I know.
I know.
That's
but
what makes it
we're,
funnier.
That's why we're having heart attacks. See all the veins in our face?
I'm pulling back. Speaking of veins, no.
See?
So right now
Can't
you've got your own. There's a lot more tags. I have to.
Fucking thing sucks.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Hit a button.
I'm trying to push it down. Yeah, that.
Your boner. Okay, let's
No,
stop.
no, I flipped that under the belt. That you know.
Under the belt.
Yeah,
Up under.
you're dancing in a middle school dance when you're in middle school. Let's make sure
you
we
go
do
up
that.
under the.
Yeah, up under the
the
elastic.
Sure.
If you're wearing basketball shorts, because
Don't act like you're going around the world. Up underneath the bottom and around the back. Like that's what
Who
I
would have
thought.
thought that?
I did just now. It doesn't make any sense.
Is it- How many John
He
Daly's have
did.
you had?
Bro, you need to work on your description skills.
Well-
Dog.
Do I? What was that?
Sills.
You heard me.
You got it. You need to work on your talking, Rummy. So all right, because I have a hard out in 6 minutes. So I want to make sure we get everything. So if people want to hire you, and we'll have you back on because we had some stories we wanted to get to. Unless
we didn't even get. Sorry.
Well,
We get to that.
We can have you back on.
Up in the Alaska
Look, we've got a whole map we didn't even get to either. If you're watching,
starting here,
this is like my baby.
Southern Point,
Sicily. Yeah, I know that place. So if people want to hire you, they go on aldentetastings.com, right?
Yes.
Get a hold of you. What does anybody need to know before hiring you?
Ooh. Well, the only things you need to provide are your home, a table that fits however many people you're having, and that could be in the same space.
Guy had a
chair
TV
for
tray.
me, something like a magazine or something for me.
Yeah, are you like the stripper's bouncer?
Yeah, exactly.
When they come into the bachelor party. Hey guys,
no
touching.
touching.
So
ahead,
table, and it could be like set up in a room where the table's not all in one place. If you have, let's say, 14 people and you fit 10 in one table and 4 in like a little bar area, and it's all in the same room, that works because people ask that. And all you have to provide is the table and wine glasses. The rest I bring.
And food allergies, I'm sure people, or diets. Do people do that?
I can work with all of it. Vegans, vegetarians, gluten, all of it I work with. You just have to let me know, and I'll change your individual platter. So the rest of the group that's going to be there will have the regular platter, and my vegans, my vegetarians will have something different on their platter, which will be beautiful in and of itself.
So if I'm having a party, I'm like, hey, I want to hire you. Do you make it there, or do you bring everything over, or are you bringing it ready to go?
It depends on how many people, but let's go with an average of 30 minutes to prepare.
Okay.
So I prepare.
Oh, that's quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty quick because I bring everything in separately, all individual, all the cheeses. So the 8 cheeses, the 8 meats, everything's cut up and ready to go for me there. So when I get there, I'm pretty much just plating. And plating for me is pretty important. So, because again, I'm creating a somewhat journey. So I design it in a very specific way.
The whole theory, you eat with your eyes kind of thing. It is a visual. Well, look, you can, if you see stuff on a plate where they do the little swizzle sometimes, instead of not, it can make it look like, ooh, this is fancy. This is nice. That's why we have parsley on the side to make it. No one wants that shit.
Well,
it looks nice.
That's another conversation. But I always say if I see something on
this
a
is
plate,
from the white trash taste buds of mine. I'm saying
cool,
that's how I see it.
It's
and
cool.
most of America.
Straight.
But for me, if you're putting something on a plate that's not,
it needs
that has
purpose.
nothing to do exactly.
Yeah, I get it. It's on my side. I see it as efficiency or waste. There's no point in having it, and that's probably where it started. That rule, I'm guessing, right? Because back in the day, you only had so much. Now you have access to a lot of stuff, so thus you can kind of be wasteful. But I'm sure a lot of those things, like Cuban food, a lot of that stuff is very basic ingredients, but it's made differently. Like they can do thousands of things with a pig that me as Whitey doesn't know how to do. Like because a lot of it was started from having rations of what the country gave them. Yeah.
Poverty has a lot to do. Pizza.
Right.
Pizza
that's where all like genres of food kind of really start. So a lot of it starts with being efficient with your ingredients.
Well, one of the sayings she has somewhere is real food doesn't have ingredients. It is ingredients.
Ooh, that's like
ooh.
Yeah,
that's to the core,
that's
right?
I
think
feel like
it's Jamie Oliver. I'm not sure. I don't want to quote it
just
wrong.
take the credit.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid.
You can't lift in comedy, but you can in that
right.
world. No one's gonna be like, "Hey, man,
Anthony
I said that."
Bourdain is dead.
Everything's organic.
Just take it.
Well, all right. So we've got a lot of meat left on the bone.
We're not gonna do
I just
that.
like making some jokes and then doing the sniffle.
No, we're not gonna do
that. We'll pause. I want to next time have you back on. We'll have you back on to go over the stories we didn't get to because we basically did a podcast before we started on the mics.
I tried to tell you guys, stop talking.
I did, but she kept talking about how much she loves.
I know
her company, what she does, and I couldn't stop her.
I know.
And by the way, my job is talking.
Yeah,
I I know.
She's a talker.
And that's
Right.
also why I didn't completely stop it.
But
was
that's
fun.
good. Well, we'll put a cork in it for now.
I hate you so much right now.
We'll put the rest in a doggy bag for the second
No.
episode. You come on.
Do one more.
Let's do. I can't think of
Yeah.
any more idioms. All right, but we ask everybody that comes on the show for the first time, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self? You didn't know this is coming. So
I didn't. Hold on.
Give her the heads up.
Don't need to. What advice you? And I'll vamp to give you a minute.
I already know.
Okay, good.
This is gonna sound so weird, but let go of peer pressure and like what anybody else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Just be yourself. Hang out with the people you want to hang out with. And I know that sounds weird because usually people do.
People-
and I did. I
people
don't. And,
pleasing.
like all my friends in high school, I love you. No, and it wasn't that. It was yeah. There was just a lot of stress behind it for me, and so for me, that's what I would have done a little different.
Yeah, people appeasing people that you're like, why do I even give a fuck about going to do this? This doesn't. This is not even fun. Yeah, stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
Even parties, yeah. Like I wish I would have been more of a homebody like I am now. It's so much more fun. Like,
Yeah, sure.
I think it is.
because your job is at parties.
You're right.
You know, like
That
people
is true.
want to watch stand up, and I'm like, I don't watch it. Like it's weird. You're out doing it. I think about comedy all the time. I don't need to I don't really want to go sit down and
You're absolutely right.
watch that. So,
Yeah.
plus, we're all the same age, so it's not like you got the energy to go nightclubbing,
I don't really want.
Right, guys?
right?
Audience?
I go raving. I go to
I
raves.
don't want to do that.
All right.
Tired.
Then we don't have to do it. Let's put Vic's favorite rubs on ourselves and just party here.
But where?
Here. Let's shut the cameras off. Let's party, dude. Let's get some Molly. Let's do it.
Camera's going.
All right.
See where that vapor rub goes.
Thank y'all for listening. Thanks for coming on, and we will have you on soon, I'm sure, to do a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's fun.